You guys have to bear with me. It's good we reviewed this anyway. Okay? So remember for intersection, it's the N, and intersection means and that's our football. The union is the U, and the U looks like a boat, so we use our oars, right? So that means or. Remember, the football is the middle part, and the or is everything. Now, when we're back to talking about disjointed, if we had two things that cannot be shared. So say we had 13 clubs, and we had, say, 13 hearts. That's actually how much there are in a deck of cards. So how would you find how many you have? Okay, if this is A, this is B, you would just say, well, N of the universal would be N of A plus N of B. So would be 13 plus 13 equals 26. Okay, now most, like you, a grade 3 kid would be like, yeah, I get it. That makes sense, right? Why are you wasting my time? Okay. Well, we want to talk about joint or overlap. Okay, so now when we talk about if we had, say, oops, that's a very small football. That's going to be hard to read. So if in this side, say A was our clubs, right? A equals clubs, and B, holy, my writing is bad today. B is sevens. Okay, so the way we would do that is, what would be the overlap? So there would be just one card in there, correct? And there would be 3 more there. And how many would be just clubs? 12. Okay, so that's clubs, not sevens. Yep. Okay, ace to king. Okay, so this one, N universal, would be N of A plus N of B minus N of A N, or intersection B. Now remember, clubs there's 13, and sevens there's 4. Correct? Yes?
Isn't there 14 clubs, like with the ace?
No. Should be.
No, yeah.
There's 13, yep. Okay, so N of A is 14 plus N of B is 4. And we minus the overlap because the overlap's been counted twice in this one. Okay, this is the formula. And minus the football, right? That's our football, our and. So that would be 14 plus 4 is 18 minus 1, 13, sorry. 13 plus 4 is 17 minus 1, you would get 16. Now, most people just look at their Venn diagram and they're like, 12 plus 1 is 13 plus 3 is 14. Why aren't you just doing it that way? Well, this is the way I want you to see. This formula is on your formula sheet. I want you to be able to understand this formula sheet, that when you take the N of A, the N of B, and minus the overlap, you will get the answer as well. Because when you do N of A plus N of B, it tells you what has been counted twice. Okay? So we can see the difference between our two formulas. Okay, you need to know these two formulas. This is when they are disjoint. You will use this formula when they overlap. Okay? Disjoint you could do in grade 3. Okay? Like, you know, if you did things though that confuse students and they'd be like, but couldn't that one be that one as well? Okay, then you would be picking another example pretty fast. And you go, oh yeah, that's not a good one. We're not going to use that one right now. Okay, now, so if we look at these, okay, this is obviously they're joint. They call them not disjoint, which is a double negative, right? These are definitely disjoint. Okay, so this is A or B. That's what this represents. This is A or B, right? So we got to know what A or B looks like if they're joint, and we got to know what A or B is. It's disjoint. Now, the intersection of A or B is the football, right? Remember, this means and. What's A and B? The football. In the second example, what is A and B? What is clubs and spades? Nothing. So it will be empty set. Okay? Now, what's nice about these in the diploma? Very fast questions. Like, it will take you probably 4 to 5 minutes maximum to get through this part of the diploma. Okay, it's really fast. They might just ask you, what is the intersection of A and B if it's clubs and spades, right? And they're going to have 5, they'll have whatever empty set, and it's just that quick, right? So you want to know the language, you want to be very, oh, those are disjoint, they would have nothing in common, they have no and, so it's empty set, okay? So things to remember. If A and B contain common elements, that means they're joint. This is the formula. So, N or B, right? It's an or. That is a union. Is N of A, number of A plus number of B minus N of A and B, because it got counted twice. So, what I'm saying is, if we've counted all of A, see there's N of A, and there's N of B. Do you see how the football got counted twice? So all we do is subtract one football off at the end. Okay? Now, if the two sets are disjoint, N and B will be 0. Which that shouldn't even be 0. It should be empty set, because what if 0 is one of your numbers? That's confusing, right? So we usually say that it's an empty set. Okay, and N or, the number of A or B would be N of A plus N of B. Okay, now, here is the way that most people, oops, I don't want that, I want to go down. Most people actually, most people actually like it this way. So I want to just draw it quick, and I want you to be able to, again, this looks like a lot of confusing stuff written down if you really don't know all the symbols. But I'm just going to use this last example, 12, 1, and 3. So where I had 12, 1, and 3. So you could use either one of these two formulas mean the same answer. So you could say, well, what were the number of A that's not B? Oh, that's 12. And what is the number of B not A? Well, that's 3. And what's the number of A and B? That's 1. And then you get your 16 that way. Okay? So does everybody see how those two formulas are the same? You just come about them at a different point. The first formula says all of A, all of B, And hey, we counted the football twice. We need to subtract it out. The second one says, let's just do the very left plus the middle plus the very right. Nothing got counted twice. We're good. Okay? Subtle, but can be very confusing if you don't know. Okay, so here's all of your cards, okay? So we'll call these clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds, okay? So that's when we say those letters, you know what we're talking about. And yours aren't nice in color like mine, but here's what else I want to talk. These will always be considered the black cards. These will always be considered the red cards. And just to give you a few more things they'll throw out at you, these are called the, what are those called? Face cards. Why? Because they have faces on them. Okay? So they'll mention face cards. That's your Jack, Queen, King. Okay? Royal family. So here's just a bunch of questions that we're going to ask. It says describe the sets. Okay? Well, C is going to equal clubs. S is going to be spades. Again, some of you guys are going, man, this is a little too easy. And it is, like I said, if you know what the question is asking, you probably will not get too stressed out about this unit. And some students will be maybe even surprised if this comes out to become our lowest average of all of our tests, right? And the reason is because if I have the whole, like say if I have 75% of the class get 100, but I have 6 people that fail it, it really brings down the class average on this, because you will fail this exam if you don't know what all these little things mean. And you know, as we go on in the year, are we going to start losing some people? Are we going to start having more absences? All those kind of things, because we haven't had anyone fail any exams in this room yet. That's why our averages stick quite high, right? This one, you know, to get 25% on this test is not out of the ordinary, because some people have no idea what all these little symbols mean when they go in. And to get a lot of 100s is also not out of the ordinary. So very huge separation of marks on this one more than any of the other ones. Okay, determine NC and S and H and D and NU. Okay, so now we're not asking for C. Remember what NC means. It means the number of clubs is 13. The number of spades is 13. The number of hearts is 13. The number of diamonds is 13. NU is my universal set. That's your deck of cards. That'll be 52, and we're not including jokers. Okay, now describe the union S and H. Okay, now first of all, S and H, joint or disjoint? Can you have a spade heart? Okay, always ask that question. Can you have a spade heart? No, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so these are disjoint. So the union, so we're doing S union H. What does that mean? Or. Okay, so how many spades or hearts are there? Okay, so these are disjoint. So maybe we'll just, so we're going to translate spades or hearts. So how many spades or hearts are there? 13 plus 13 is 26. Okay. Okay, some little auto type thing there. It said describe the intersection of S and H. So we're looking for S intersection H. So what is S and H? That's empty set. So you almost have to say it to yourself in your head, what is a spade heart? No, nothing. Okay? Now if you could say, what is a 7 of hearts? Oh yeah, there's a 7 hearts. Okay, then you've got yourself a joint set, right? Now determine whether the events described of S and H are mutually exclusive. Okay, now mutually exclusive means, that's another word for means disjoint. Mutually exclusive means they do have nothing in common. Okay, so you really got to know that this word means the same thing. Again, do you see how just writing that on your study sheet, in 3 months from now when you're studying, there that is, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, it's back that fast. Okay? Now, whether sets S and H are disjoint. Okay, so they basically asked the same thing. So for E, we're just going to say they are disjoint. Okay, now describe the complement of S union H. Now this is a pretty simple, fast multiple choice question. So what is not, this isn't as easy as it sounds. What is not S union H? So what I'm asking for, let's translate. What is not spades or hearts? So I find to actually write that out makes it make sense to get to the next step. So what is not a spade or heart? It equals clubs or diamonds. Okay. Now how would you draw a Venn diagram for these 4 suits? You would have 4 different circles, yeah. So you would have your spades, 13, your clubs, 13, hearts, 13, and diamonds, 13. Okay, now there's another thing that I want to show you. Here is the formula for finding the complement of S. So you'll see this formula a lot. It will save you. It equals universal minus S union H. So how many, or so if I put n there, I guess, n universal, right? So that would be, what's the number of not? Well, that's got to be 52 minus 26, which equals 26. So the way to find the number of not S union H is take the universal minus S union H. Okay, so you see how they're both S union H. Okay, now we went right to saying, hey, S union H complement would be clubs or diamonds, right? But it's actually as well the universal minus S union H. And this you'll find will actually save you more than the other one will because sometimes we don't really know what the complement is all the time. Okay, so we're going to do this example here, but we're going to cross a couple things out so this actually makes more sense. So I want you to cross out skiing. You'll see why later. And you can see cross country is twice. So cross that other one out. And I think that was supposed to be like cross country skiing, but it got moved over, so it just looks confusing because there's two cross countries and the whole thing. Now, all I want to do is let's number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so we should have 16 things. Now, the athletics department at a huge high school offers 16 different sports. See, that's another good thing, reason why we had to cross out. I think it was a cross-country skiing, but anyway, let's move on. So, determine the number of sports that require the following types of equipment: a ball and an implement, such as a stick, a club, or a racket. Okay? No. Okay, so we're not going to count a birdie as a ball, even though it has a little rubber thing at the end. Okay? And believe me, if this was a diploma question, it would be very clear. Okay? Because they field test them, and teachers, students, they write comments. What? Can this be this? Can whatever? And then they take that and they go, okay, we got to get rid of this question. So, anything that takes, let's just do implements. Okay, that a stick, a club, a racket. Okay, so let's put an I besides that one takes, right? Hockey would be I. Tennis is I. Basketball, no. Lacrosse, yes. Okay, ultimate, that's supposed to be just, so you know, that's frisbee, by the way. Ultimate frisbee for those people that are. Okay, running, no. Rugby, no implement. Volleyball, no. Curling, yeah. Okay, cross country, no. Wrestling, doesn't take anything. Football, no. Soccer, golf, definitely. And football, and softball is your bat. Okay? Broom. Okay, now we're going to talk about ball. So we've done an implement. So badminton, not a ball. Hockey, not a tennis. Maybe I'll do it in red here. We got a ball there. Basketball, you would assume. Lacrosse, yes. Frisbee, no. Running, no ball. Rugby, yep. Volleyball, hence the name, yep. Curling, no. Cross country, no. Wrestling, no. Football, yeah. Look. Soccer, yep. Golf, yep. And softball, yep. Okay? So, if it was a test or whatever, that stuff would be very, very clear. We really haven't done any. So it says determine the number of sports. See, it says number. Yeah, implement. Implement includes these. Okay, so what would be, okay, if you could just put up your hand, tell me what this would look like if I wrote it in, actually I want this. How would I write this in the short, okay, would it be B-U-I? Because it has to have a ball and an implement, not or, right? So the and here is not that what that represents, right? So we want to be so clear. Because look at D. We cannot get D mixed up with A. Again, 5-second question in your diploma, But you get it wrong if you don't know the language, right? So I got to be so certain, right, that that's what they're looking for. So what we're looking for is all the ones that are IB. How many of them are there? What are we getting? 4? Okay. Now, maybe some of you right now are like, okay, I'm not liking the fact that I have no Venn diagram to go off of. So we got lots of room here. We want to see what this Venn diagram would truly look like. Now, inside the football would be lacrosse, softball, golf, and tennis. Okay, let's call this the I side and this the B side. I's was badminton, hockey, and curling. And B is basketball, rugby, volleyball, football, and soccer. Okay, is that everything? Does this represent everything? No. We still have stuff that is not allowed in there, but still in the universal set of sports. Okay, and that's cross-country running for anyone that was, and wrestling. Okay, that would be a true Venn diagram of all of the sports above. Okay, now, so I'm not just interested anymore in the answers. How would I write this question out using the? Does that make sense? This means ball, not implement. Okay? And that is? Okay, how many? 5. Okay, now, does this formula make sense? N, B, because they could throw this at you. They'll ask you, is this true? Number, ball not implement equals number of ball minus number I. Is that true? Yes, no? Okay, is this part here equal to ball minus and? Yeah, it is, right? So this could be a question on the diploma. Is this a true statement? That simple. They might not even ask you the answer, right? And you got to sit there and go, is that number of ball minus, I want to say the football, but we don't want to say football for this question because I'm getting mixed up with football, but it's the intersection, right? The and. So it's all of B minus the and that does turn out to be ball, not implement, okay? Now, an implement, not ball. So I slash B. Now, that would equal, what would be the formula for this? Make it look like above. What would this equal? Ni minus Ni intersection B again, right? Okay, so this would be 7 minus 4, which would equal 3. Now again, with our Venn diagram, you could just go it's 3, right? But what if they just asked for an equation that would work, right? I don't want to just always be pulling stuff from the Venn diagram. Now either ball or an implement. Okay, this word right here means union. Now, two formulas for this. So this would be N, B, union I would equal N, I plus N, B minus N, I intersection B. Okay, now why do we have to subtract that intersection? Because it got counted twice, didn't it? Okay, so that would be 9 plus 7 minus hold on. Yeah, no, that should be 7 plus 9, right? If I want to keep straight. Minus 4. So 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 minus 4 equals 12. Now let's put the other one. The other one would be equal to N of I not B plus number of B not I plus number of B or I, sorry, intersection B. So that would be 3 plus, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Plus 1, 2, 3, 4. That also gives you 12. Why is the I second for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Okay, so I mean, like I've been trying to tell you, this stuff can be very, very confusing with all the little slashes and whatever. Like this, hopefully through practice and all the quizzes and really going slow on this stuff, I won't lose anybody. Now E really is even playing on words even more by saying what is neither a ball nor an implement? Now we can see that up in our diagram quite easy, can't we? That's the ultimate, the right and the cross and the, now, neither a ball nor an implement. How would I write this out? N. Can I hear? Yeah?
And not I union B, not B.
Is that what you want? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Now, what did I say the formula for the complement always is? N of universal minus N B union I. Universal is 16. Ball or implement was 12. We get the answer 4. Now this will always work. To find the complement is go universal minus the non-complement, or minus itself. Okay? A lot going on here. Okay. Now, I just want you to cross this out because Morgan screwed up and you want to find the answer. So what I want you to do right now is take 30 seconds and draw this Venn diagram. I'm just going to pause record.